Good morning, students. Today we are discussing second integrated video in dual nature of radiation and matter. In it, what we want to be learn about the photoelectric effect. Okay, in that photoelectric effect, are you know? First of all, we will define the photoelectric effect. What is that? If a light will incident on a metal surface, a light will incident on a metal surface. Suppose it is a metal. Assume it is a metal. Now light will incident on it. Then what you are observed? That electrons are ejected from the metal surface. That electrons are ejected from the metal surface. This phenomena is known as photoelectric effect. When light is illuminated with suitable frequency or wavelength, then the electrons are emitted from metal surface or ejected from metal surface. Okay, this phenomena is known as a photoelectric effect. Who discovered this? Actually, in 1887, Hertz discovered this phenomena. What he says? Very simple. In 1887, the photoelectric effect was discovered by Hertz. In his experiments, what he said, Hertz observed that a high voltage spark passes between two electrodes, cathode and anode, like that. Okay, across the metal electrodes more easily when cathode is illuminated with UV rays from an arc lamp. He observed that in 1887. After that, Hal Watts gives some more explanation for that. That is, he considered UV light or UV rays. Okay, in 1888, Hal Watts considered a zinc plate cathode. For this cathode, he considered one zinc plate. Now, the light is incident on zinc plate. What the light he considered? He considered ultraviolet rays, UV rays. When he passes the UV rays upon zinc metal, what he observed? He observed that zinc plate will become more positively. Zinc plate become more positively. Further, light will incident, UV light will incident furtherly. Then the zinc plate furtherly increase the positiveness. So the positive charge more and more it will increase it for the zinc plate. For that, the electrons receives the positiveness of the charge. Then the electrons are ejected from the metal surface. The electrons are ejected from the metal surface. Who observed this? Hal Watts observed. In which year? In 1888. In 1888, Hal Watts observed that upon zinc plate, if ultraviolet rays are incident or illuminated, then zinc plate become positively charged. Further increase of UV light upon the zinc plate, the positive charge will be increased to the zinc metal plate more and more, like that. Okay, after that, the zinc plate, what the free electrons, they are receives that positive charge, and these electrons are ejected from the metal surface. These electrons are ejected from the metal surface. Then photoelectric effect occurs there. When UV light will pass upon one metal surface, zinc metal surface, then electrons are ejected from it. This observation is given by Hal Watts. Okay. From those observations, what Hal Watts concluded, are you know that? Very simple. If UV light will incident upon to the zinc plate, electrons are emitted from it. Electrons are ejected from the metal surface. Clear? These emitted electrons are called photoelectrons. These electrons are called, that emitted electrons are called photoelectrons. Clear? These observations are given by Hal Watts. Then after, Lenard do some experiments. In that experiments, that Lenard observed that he considered one evacuated or glass tube containing with cathode and anode. Okay, this cathode, upon this cathode, some light will incident. Or you know what is a cathode? Very, very simple. Already here they gave one small definition for that. A metal plate C is called cathode. That means which is emitted electrons from it. That is called cathode. Okay. The electrons which metal will emitted. That metal is known as simply emitter metal or simply cathode. Which are collected the electrons. Which metal collect the electrons? That are called anode. Okay. So he considered in a glass tube, cathode and anode, and a suitable frequency of light will incident upon this cathode. What he observed that? He observed some electrons are ejected. These ejected electrons will move from cathode to anode. First he wanted to give you very high potential with the help of rheostat and battery. Okay, with the help of rheostat and battery. What he did, he increased the positive potential of anode. Here positive potential will increase, then electrons are negatively charged particles, so they can attracted by this positive. Says or no? Then electrons are moved from cathode to anode. Then anode will absorb or collect that electrons. Collect that electrons. Clear? Very, very simple. With the help of rheostat and battery, he applied very high potential. That potential will be, here they give for anode. Anode potential will be more positive. So, electrons are attracted to that. So, electrons are moving from here to here. If electrons will or charges will pass from one point to another point, then we can call it as current. Say yes or no? Then, what the current here, that current is called photocurrent. That current is called photoelectric current. Clear? Very, very simple. That photoelectric current will shows a small reading here in microammeter. Very simple experiment. He considered cathode and anode. Okay, with a certain frequency of light will incident to the cathode. Then what happened? Light is nothing but energy. Says or no? That energy will received by this plate. So more energy will received by the free electrons. Then they are in more excited state. Then after this positive potential surface, it will cross over. That means electrons are ejected from the metal surface. Clear? That point is most important. So after coming electrons to reach this anode, what he did? He considered with the help of, he increased the potential of A with the help of rheostat and battery. Then A anode potential will be increases. Then this potential become more positive. Then after, electrons are negatively charged particles, so they are attracted by this positive. So electrons are moved from cathode to anode. Due to while the anode will receive the electrons, then here that current reading will shows by this microammeter. Okay, this current, what it will receive the current because of electrons are moving, charges are moving. The charges are moving, we can call it as a current. So say yes or no? So irrespective of this photo means light. Irrespective of this photo or nothing but light. When it is incident, then electrons are ejected. That are photoelectrons. That electrons are received by the anode. That means electrons are moved from cathode to anode in the form of photocurrent. In the form of photocurrent. Clear? This photocurrent will be shows by microammeter. Clear na? These observations are given by Lennox. After that, Lenard what he did? Very simple. The positive potential of anode plate slowly decreases and he give negatively charged to that. Why? Because these electrons are, if it is a positive, then they will reach. If it is a negative, electrons also be negative, so they can reflect. It cannot receive. Say yes or no? That's why. So here, up to a certain negative potential, the electrons does not reach to the anode. Electrons does not reach to the anode. That means photocurrent becomes zero. Photocurrent become zero. Okay, these observations are done by Lennox. What he did? First he take light is incident, then electrons are ejected from the cathode, and anode potential will increase. Then here it will become positive potential more. Then after electrons are received by this anode, then the photocurrent shown by microammeter. Then after this potential will, they want to be reduced and give negative potential. At a certain negative potential, the electrons are reflect from here. It cannot receive. It cannot receive. That means photocurrent becomes zero. The microammeter shows zero reading. At which negative potential, most important, at which negative potential the photocurrent becomes zero? At which negative potential of anode with respect to this cathode, okay, the photocurrent becomes zero. That potential is called stopping potential. That potential is called stopping potential. While here they are giving negative potential, for which negative potential the photocurrent becomes zero, that potential is called stopping potential. The definition only here they gave. The stopping potential, the minimum negative potential given to the collector with respect to emitter, for which the photocurrent becomes zero. For which the photocurrent becomes zero. Clear na? For which negative potential. Okay. For which negative potential the photocurrent will become zero. That potential is called stopping potential. This stopping potential is related to maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons. While suppose electrons are more energetic, they are already released and stay here. They are more energetic. More energetic means what it will do? They will move like this. If they are so much energetic, even though they cannot receive this anode, that much negative potential. Clear? That's why the stopping potential is related to maximum kinetic energy of photoelectron, because at this potential even the most energetic electrons just fails to receive the anode. Just fails to receive the anode. Clear? By seeing these all, what we learned? Simple. The work done by the stopping potential. The work done by the stopping potential is equals to maximum kinetic energy of electrons. The work done by the stopping potential is equals to maximum kinetic energy of electrons. What we said the previous point. Okay. That is, electron means minus E. Because of work done already we know. W equal to VQ. Say yes or no? W equal to VQ, we know that. Here V is a potential. Which potential it is? Stopping potential. So minus V naught, it is a negative potential. And charge, electron. So electron means a minus E. That's why what I wrote, minus E into minus V naught. That is equal to maximum Ke. Maximum Ke means half m V square maximum. Okay, so minus into minus it will become plus. So EV naught equal to half m V square. Suppose if you draw one graph for it. How can you plot the graph? Along y-axis if you will take photocurrent, along y-axis if you take photocurrent, and along x-axis you can take anode potential. First it is a positive, slowly we will decrease the positive potential. Then after electrons receives also will become less. I understand. Here positive potential we are decreasing. So slowly electrons will receive by the anode will become less. That less reading is shown by this microammeter. So it will comes like this. So slowly it will comes down at a particular negative potential. The photocurrent becomes zero. Clear? This negative potential is called stopping potential. We will plot the graph for this stopping potential like this. Okay, by seeing these all observations, we can learn some important cases here. Okay, that important observations. See here in previous graph already we discussed it. Okay, so potential will increase up to a certain potential, the current will increase, then after it can get saturate like this. This is called saturate current. Okay. So now potential will decrease up to a certain potential, negative potential, the photocurrent will become zero. This graph already we learned. Okay. Now further saturation current and that potentials, if you want to take intensity of light. Okay, if you take the graph for that, it will be shows like this. The saturation current we will take it as in y-axis. Okay, saturation photocurrent will be taken in y-axis and intensity of light will be taken in x-axis. Now different intensities of light we will consider. Then different saturation currents will come like this. Okay, if metal does not change, photocurrent is also does not change. I understand. If you take only one metal for different intensities, the stopping potential does not change. Okay? The stopping potential does not change. I understand. Very simple point. That only. That's why. For different intensities, different saturation currents we can get. For example, I will draw one graph like this. Observe clearly. Suppose this is I1, first intensity of the light. Second one is this one, second intensity of light. Third one is this one, third intensity of light. For the different intensities, this is one saturate, this is second, third, like that saturate currents are there. Say yes or no? But without metal change, this stopping potential does not change. Okay? By using that concept, here we have drawn this graph here. We will consider now different intensities of light. Okay? For that intensity, one saturate current, and one more intensity for that, one more saturate current. And one more saturate like this. If you want to be plot a graph, it will passes from origin like this. What about the result? From this graph? What you can observe that? See that keeping frequency constant of incident light and cathode metal does not change. The nature of cathode metal does not change. Okay, for different intensities of incident light, saturation photocurrent is measured and plot the graph. What you can see the result. The result is observed that saturation current, how it is, if intensity will increase here. Say yes or no? If intensity of light increases, saturation photocurrent is also be increases. That means directly proportional. That point only here we want to be learned. That is the result. It is observed that the saturation photocurrent I is proportional to intensity of incident light. Clear? This is the main experimental observation. Because of these observations, finally we will learn as 1, 4 or 5 points. Write the experimental observations. Okay, that is most important PU question for us. But in objective we will learn only this much concepts. Clear? These are all most important theoretical bits. Remember this one. Clear? Second important observation is the effect of intensity of light on stopping potential and saturation photocurrent. How it is? Previous already I discussed this one. Okay, metal does not change. The nature of cathode does not change. Same it is. But different intensities I considered. For different intensities, it have different saturation currents. Okay, first I want to take first intensity. For the same metal, the stopping potential will be here. Second intensity, now I increase the intensity, that is I2. Okay, now here I am writing I3 is greater than, I2 is greater than I1. Slowly I am increasing the intensities of light, but stopping potential does not change. I understand? Very, very simple point. From that, what you can observe here, very, very simple point. The value of stopping potential independent on intensity of incident light. Most important point. The stopping potential is independent upon intensity of incident light. Intensity of incident light. The magnitude of saturation current depends. That saturation current will depends on intensity of light, incident light. Intensity of incident light. For example, if you incident with a higher intensity, then we can observe larger saturation current. Here if you observe is low intensity, medium intensity, high intensity. Are you understand? So higher intensity gives more saturated current. This value is different for this one. Say yes or no. Are you understand clearly? That point only in second. The magnitude of saturation current depends on which intensity of incident light. Intensity of incident light. Higher intensity gives larger saturation current. Higher intensity gives larger saturation current. These observations are most important. Next one is effect of frequency. Incident light. Effect of frequency of incident light on stopping potential. How it will be? Different frequencies of incident light we are taking. There are mu1, mu2, mu3 like that. Here mu1 is greater than, mu2 is greater than, mu3 like that. Okay. If for the first frequency, the saturation current will be flat like this. For applied voltage. That point only here I am discussing. Okay, for different frequency of incident light, like mu1, mu2, mu3, so on, photocurrent is measured. Then the graph is plotted between applied voltage, what we are applied to the anode voltage, that will be, and photocurrent, if you want to take like that. Then for this particular frequency, for this particular applied voltage, the current will be and it will get saturated. Second different frequency, it will give the same. Okay, while it will decrease the potential, it will comes and stop potential will be here. And similarly, third different intensity, if you want to take the saturation current will be remains the same. And for that different frequency of third one, if it will decrease the potential of the anode, then for a particular potential, the photocurrent becomes 0. Like that only, the values you can measure, and if you plot the graph will be gives all frequencies of light will give the same saturation current. But from this concept, what we can learn here, the larger frequency of incident light, larger of stopping potential. Stopping potential it will give more. That means kinetic energy is a maximum for emitted photoelectrons. Kinetic energy maximum of emitted photoelectrons, that must be depends, for which it will depends frequency of incident light. So if frequency increases, kinetic energy will increase. Not intensity of photocurrent will increase. Okay, photocurrent not increased. Only emitted electrons, kinetic energy will increase. That means the speed of electron will increase, not photocurrent. Remember this point, most important. Okay. So frequency of for the frequency of incident light, kinetic energy of photoelectron will increase, If a frequency will increase, the kinetic energy increase, not photocurrent, only speed of electron will increase. The speed of electron will increase, the kinetic energy will increase. Clear? Okay. And nature of metal plate. Kinetic energy of photoelectrons, kinetic energy of photoelectrons is independent of intensity of incident light. Intensity of incident light. If intensity will increase, kinetic energy does not increase. If I increase, K does not increase. Remember this point, most important, because independent character. Clear? If I increase, intensity of photo light will be increased, photo current will increase, means photo electrons will increase, number of protons will increase. Okay, number of electrons will ejected more. Clear na? So kinetic energy does not depend upon I. Kinetic energy depend upon frequency. Remember, kinetic energy will depend upon frequency, not in intensity. Remember this point, most important. It is one of the experimental observation also. Clear? Next one is saturation photocurrent is independent of frequency of incident light. Saturation current for all different frequencies, saturation current here same. I understand. That means saturation current is independent of frequency of incident light. Clear na? These are 2 points you need to remember. These are also we will learn in experimental observations. Next one is, see here. Now we are taking variation of stopping potentials with the frequency of incident light. Now I will consider here different metals. Okay, potassium, sodium, aluminum, copper, cesium, like this. Okay, so different materials. I want to plot a graph between frequency of incident light and stopping potentials. That each will show some different stopping potential with different frequencies. That only here. For that, here threshold frequency mu naught is a characteristic of metal plate and this frequency. Okay, characteristic of metal plate at this frequency. It shows the characteristic of metal plate. Okay, kinetic energy of photoelectrons is 0. Different metal get different stopping potentials. I understand? Simple words. Next one is above threshold frequency. What we are observed? If frequency is increased, what happens? Kinetic energy of electrons will increase. That means kinetic energy range of value from 0 to it will attain maximum. Kinetic energy of photoelectrons, that value will attain from 0 to maximum. I understand? If frequency increase, not photoelectron number will increase, not photocurrent increase, only kinetic energy of photoelectrons are increased. That means speed increase. Okay, so its value will 0 to maximum it will get. Kinetic energy maximum kinetic energy, and stopping potential increases linearly. Then we can draw this graph as shown in the figure. Clear? This is the most important variations. Now, by using these all, we will learn about some experimental observations that are up to now what we are seeing, that all graphs. We will learn some photoelectric laws or experimental observations. Okay, here it first point. The frequency of incident radiation, if it is a minimum, no photoelectric effect. Already we know that. If it is less than certain value of threshold frequency, okay, electrons are not emitted from the metal surface. If frequency is less than certain amount of frequency, then no photoelectric effect takes place. Clear? Whatever the intensity of the light will be more, even though, I understand clearly, very simple. Clear na? How much intensity if you be incident the light, if certain minimum frequency of light will incident, then only electrons will eject from the metal surface. If not, they are not. Okay, no photoelectric effect takes place. That certain amount of frequency is called threshold frequency. The minimum frequency to eject the electrons from the metal surface is called threshold frequency. Clear? Second point, the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons. Kinetic energy, when it will become maximum, if frequency of light will, incident light will maximum. Okay, frequency will getting more, then kinetic energy of photoelectrons will more. So, maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons depends on frequency of incident light, not intensity of radiation. Not intensity of radiation, independent of intensity of radiation. Here, kinetic energy maximum, it will depend upon only frequency. Frequency increases, velocity of electron increases, so kinetic energy of electron increases. Clear? But not for intensity of radiation. The maximum kinetic energy of electrons is linearly function of frequency of incident radiation. It must be depend upon frequency, not depend upon intensity of light. Okay, maximum kinetic energy depend upon only frequency of incident light, not intensity of incident light. Okay, remember that point. Next one is photocurrent increases. When it will be? When it will be increase? Intensity of light increases. That only here. Photocurrent is increases with increase intensity of incident radiation. Okay, photocurrent increases with the intensity of incident radiation. If I increases, photocurrent is also increases. Capital I increases, small I is also increases. Remember like that. It independent of frequency of incident light. Okay. Photocurrent does not depend upon frequency. If a frequency increases, kinetic energy of electron, photoelectrons are increases. Not a photocurrent, already we discussed it so many times, that point only. Okay, if light is incident upon metal surface, immediate, that means a fraction of seconds, the electrons are ejected from it. That means this process is called instantaneous process. So there is no time lag between incident radiation and emission of photoelectrons. Emission of photoelectrons. That's why it is called, so that it is called instantaneous process. Instantaneous process. The time gap between the two are below 10 power minus 10 seconds or very less for that. Okay. These are all most important experimental observations. Clear? According to this theory, in next video we will solve some numericals. Clear?